Virginia's source for news. Eyewitness News starts right now.
And welcome to a special edition of Eyewitness News this morning, the West Virginia flood. All that water beginning to recede, and this morning we are now getting a better look at the damage caused by this deadly flooding. Good morning, I'm Rick Lord. We have team coverage of the aftermath of that flood, from cleanup to donation drop-off locations, and how you can help. We've gathered the info you need. But first, let's send it right over to meteorologist Nick Patrick with a look at river levels this morning and what's in the forecast for us. Nick.
Rick, well, finally we're seeing a sunny start to the day, so some good news mixed in with all of this devastation, but they're not out of the woods quite yet. The rain, it's coming back. Now for today, we're looking pretty good. Look at that outside on the tower cam. Sunshine. That is very good news for us. The heat starting to flood in. That's going to help take those river levels down just a little bit, and they are certainly receding. The Kanawha River right now has gone down significantly since yesterday. It's down a lot, and radar and satellite is going to show just how clear everything is outside. A few clouds over in the mountains, but for the most part, we're looking good. But let's zoom out. This is going to be our next threat. Look at this. There's a cold front in the Midwest. You can see it picking up on a lot of moisture there around the Great Lakes, just north of Chicago. Lots of rain picking up. That's flowing through Illinois today. It is going to slowly track to the east. That's going to be our next rainmaker. We're keeping a very close eye on that for you right now. Now let's get into those river levels. Right now, current stage of the Kanawha River, 16.4 feet. That's much better than what it was even just yesterday. It's gone down about 10 feet. You can see here, flood stage sitting right at 30 feet, so we're nowhere near that. But the Elk River, it's gone down a little slower. Look at this, 10.8 feet is at the current flood stage. The USGS has done a great job getting out there. They're taking these readings of the river about every hour, and that's why we're seeing a very clear picture. Now the Elk River is staying very high. More rain on the way. That could affect it. I'll let you know just when that rain's coming. That's up in a little bit.
Thank you, Nick. For everyone affected by this, directly or indirectly, the slow, painful process has begun of cleaning up the mess and picking up their lives. Eyewitness News reporter Brooke Thibodeau is live along the Elk River, which crested Friday at 14 feet above flood stage. People coming together there now at Elkview Baptist Church to help their neighbors. Good morning, Brooke.
Good morning, Rick. We are here at Elkview Baptist Church, and congregation is going to gather at 10:30. They've also opened their doors to any other churches who have been affected and aren't able to get into their church to serve this morning. Now, we drove down US 119 North just to get a view of what it looks like out here. We saw tons of people's belongings outside of their homes, just covered in mud. You could tell, I would say the mud was almost hip level or 2 meters high in some areas. It's very devastating. I talked to some of the congregation here, and they said they have members who have lost absolutely everything, all of their belongings. And Elkview Baptist is also running a service. They have water, they have cleaning supplies, they have food. They're going to be giving all of that away. There have been people who have been coming up, collecting supplies, and then heading back out to their homes in order to go start the cleanup process. It's day 2. Now, this parking lot was completely covered with water all the way completely almost up to this blue Jeep over here. If we could pan over there, that's close to where the water was. Their basement had 8 feet. It was almost to the ceiling. That's how high the water is. They've also told me they were going to have a renovation of their offices. That's going to have to be postponed, and that pretty much sums up the total of West Virginia. I know summer is a big construction time, but all of those are going to be held and postponed. The new priority now is the cleaning up process, and it's going to take days, months, maybe even several months. That's the feeling that we're getting, but the congregation is going to be meeting here at 10:30. Reporting live in Elkview, Brooke Thibodeau, Eyewitness News.
Brooke, let me ask you something. You've done a phenomenal job of tweeting out every step of the way as these donations come in. One thing that I found interesting is you were saying, obviously we'll graciously accept anything you can give, but they're actually preferring it to be in smaller sizes, not necessarily bulk items, because a lot of these people have to get these to places that might not be accessible to bring all of that stuff at once, right?
That's correct. A lot of people are going to have to be walking over either mud, or the water has started to recede at this point, but some people don't even have cars, so it's really whatever they are able to get into their hands and carry home. So as we said, smaller items is what's needed, and if you can't donate a small item or get out, a monetary donation is always accepted. They also said they had a truckload trailer full full of materials dropped off by the United Mission earlier Saturday, is what the congregation here is saying. But they're going to be accepting any more materials if people can bring them. And they've also had people drive all the way up from Logan to donate. So I just think that's amazing that they were saying so often they're helping people down there. Now they're seeing it return to them. Reporting live in Elkview, Brooke Thibodeau, Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Brooke. Yeah, West Virginians always come together, always help each other out. That's one thing we love about this state. And as she mentioned, the Union Mission obviously helping us as well. We've partnered with them once again to try to make it a little easier to get help to those flood victims. Chris Williams is live at one of our donation stations, the Drug Emporium on Charleston's west side. Chris, what's it like out there? I see you got a lot of water behind you. We could use a lot more, though.
Hey, good morning, Rick. Yeah, we've got a semi-tractor trailer here, and it is getting very full. We've got water, paper towels, other non-perishable foods, cleaning items. I was just talking to Rex Whiteman a minute ago, the president and CEO of Union Mission. He says the turnout has been wonderful so far. They are filling up all three of their trailers at their locations right now. I want to bring in Rex. Rex, the floods happened, at the end of the week. Since then, what has the turnout been like for you all in terms of your donations?
People have been responding extremely generous, and we're so thankful for that, because without the help of others, we couldn't make this happen. And we already have one trailer that has been delivered to the Elkview area, went in yesterday afternoon. This trailer, as soon as it's filled, and we anticipate that by about 1 o'clock today, will go into Clendenin. And there's other trailers that'll go in as quick as possible to other areas as well. As you're well aware, I mean, it's beyond words to describe the devastation, and people are so desperate. Actually, people have come to the trailers and said, would you help us? And so we've been giving water and food to people that really needed it right now. They got a motel room somewhere here in town, but no food and no water. So we've also taken them to our homeless shelter and said, go there, you can go there and eat. So there's 3 hot meals there, and you're welcome to eat in that facility. So it's beyond words to describe the critical situation. And we're thankful for the response of people. Without their help, it won't happen.
So when the truck fills up and you take them into these different cities, how does that work? Who distributes things? How do people get what they need? Just talk to me about how the distribution works.
At Elkview, it's Elkview Baptist Church is our distribution site, and they're open till 10 o'clock at night. And are distributing people as they come to the church and saying, help me. They just come there, and there's people that are handing out product. And when that dissipates, and as far as the resources that we've got there, then we'll take more stuff in. Clendenin, this is going today actually to near the Dairy Queen, where the Dairy Queen was. And the National Guard is there. They will help get this out at that point. People can come to that site. That's sort of in the middle of things, and a lot of people have lost their transportation, and we were trying to find a convenient location where people could walk to receive the items and get them. And so the Dairy Queen location, that's open enough that we can get the tractor trailers into there, and we are working with the National Guard in that process, and they'll help unload this truck. We're also going ultimately into Birch River, and there's an elementary school there that will take the product, and they will give it out. We're also going to Richwood and White Sulphur Springs, so later in the week. And we've already located sites in those places that will take the items and give it out to people that are in need.
So even if you want to help and you can't get out to Birch River or Richwood, places that are further away from Charleston or wherever you may be down here, you can still drop things off here and you can help people out, statewide with whatever they need. And let me ask you too, real quickly. I know we always say non-perishable food items, cleaning items, things like that. Is there anything in particular, though, that people need, or really just anything that people can donate?
Chris, people have lost everything. I mean, I was talking to the National Guard last night, and the fact people are coming, I've lost my medicine. I don't have any food for my dog or my cat. They have literally nothing. So, and they don't have any cooking capabilities. So we've taken items that could be opened up, pop the lid, and eat it out of a can. is what is really needed. Since there's not cooking facilities, it's just trying to help people immediately. Water, the water sources are polluted. If they have a well, many of those are not able to drink. If they have city water, some of those resources have been broken and they're not able to get drinking water. So that's why we're taking in fresh drinking water. Cleaning supplies are always necessary because the threat of disease is unbelievable. The stench in that area is unreal. I mean, just the smell of muddy, dirty river water. And yesterday, when we were in the sites in Elkview, the flies and the fleas and all that stuff is there. I mean, it's coming out. And so, I mean, it's a very, very unpleasant experience. And so we can take any item. We didn't mention on the list of items, we need trash bags because people are also trying to pick up what's left and clean up. So trash bags is something that's not on our list, but it's desperately needed. And any item that you can consider using for cleaning and or food, those things are desperately needed. Gloves would be appreciated. I mean, rubber gloves. I think of people that we're concerned about disease, we're concerned about infection and those kind of things. So any area that would help, anything that would help in those ways would be greatly appreciated. We're not taking furniture or clothing at this time because people have nowhere to go with it, and we don't have places to store it. So eventually we'll put out an appeal for those things. But right now I'm asking people not to bring clothing, even though people have dropped off some. Please do not. We do take toilet paper, paper towels, and diapers. Those are things that people have lost. Toothpaste would be greatly appreciated, I'm sure. Things that we just take for granted. As I woke up this morning and thought, I've got running water and I can do these things. There are people not far from here that have lost it all and have nothing. So we're greatly appreciating any help.
Rex, thank you very much. You guys at the Union Mission are nonstop, and I know everyone and around the state, especially here in the southern part of the state, really appreciate everything that you guys do. It's awesome to see how much stuff you guys have already collected in just a short amount of time. So we really appreciate working with you, and I know everyone who you guys help out really appreciate everything that you do as well. Rex Whiteman, President and CEO of the Union Mission. As you just heard him say, the items that they need. If you want to drop those items off, we have one here at the Drug Emporium on the Boulevard. There's also one at the Drug Emporium in Barbersville and also one on McCorkle Avenue. So plenty of places to drop things off. And as you just heard Rex say, they can use pretty much anything that you have that you can drop off here to their truck.
Chris Williams live for us. Chris, while I have you here, just in the couple of minutes there that you were talking to Rex Whiteman, we saw people behind you loading stuff up on that truck. You were born and raised here in West Virginia. Doesn't it just amaze you? West Virginia sometimes gets a bad rap. A lot of people think that we don't have a lot here, but one thing we certainly have an abundance of is compassion. And just to see the way that people rally around their neighbors when something like this happens, it kind of warms your heart, doesn't it?
It really is. It is heartwarming, Rick, to see everyone come out here and band together. Some people that weren't affected by the flooding or what have you, they still are affected because their friends and family were affected by the flooding. Even people they don't know were affected, and they take whatever they can, whether it be money, whether it be a roll of paper towels, whatever it is they have, and they come down here and they drop it off. They take their time to do that to help out their neighbors, some people they don't even know, just to help out. So it really makes you appreciate your state. It makes you to be proud from this state, and it really is just heartwarming to see everyone come together in a time of need and get things done and help get people back on their feet.
Well said. Thank you, Chris Williams, live at the Drug Emporium on Charleston's west side. As he mentioned, you can also drop off your donations at the Drug Emporiums in Barbersville or Kanawha City. You can also bring them here to our station right here on Piedmont Road in Charleston, and we'll make sure they get to the right spot. Meanwhile, President Barack Obama has approved federal funding for some of those flooded out areas. The help from FEMA means possible grant money for temporary housing and home repairs and low interest loans to cover uninsured property loss. The Army Corps of Engineers saying dams throughout the state worked properly and were never at risk of failing. Look at that water gushing out of the Summersville Dam. That's on purpose. It's a controlled release. You normally only see these valves opened when they're getting ready for whitewater season. Officials say that if it were not for the Summersville and Sutton dams, the flooding we saw would have been even worse. A community staple in Clendenin, there for more than 50 years, was wiped out by the swollen Elk River. Over the decades, the Dairy Queen had withstood many floods, but what happened this week was just too much. As those floodwaters began to recede Friday, the roof and walls collapsed. You can't get a clearer perspective of this flooding than through the eyes of the people there in the middle of it, on the ground. We have a lot of images sent in by you. We try to share them as much as possible here on the air and through our social media pages. We love to see this from you because it really gives everyone a good idea of what we're dealing with. So if you can take these pictures safely, snap away and send them to our Facebook or Twitter pages. You can also post them in our See It, Send It section on WCHSTV.com or email them directly to us at news@WCHSTV.com. This morning, high schools and community centers have been turned into makeshift shelters. That's where so many people are waking up this morning after losing everything. The Red Cross has set up one of those shelters at Capitol High School. They have about half a dozen volunteers here working to take care of those who have been displaced. So far, more than 60 people have used this shelter. There is still room for more. If you need help getting to a shelter, call the Red Cross at either of those numbers on your screen. You can also get that information on the web at redcross.org. They even have a smartphone app you can download to help you find those shelters and track down your loved ones. Maranatha Fellowship Church will have its food truck in the Clendenin area today, passing out supplies and hot meals. If you want to help out, they're collecting donations right now at that church in St. Albans. They'll head to Clendenin about 12:30 to take those supplies to their food truck on location. Right now, a lot of people in the flooded out areas simply don't have basic utilities. West Virginia American Water is trucking in water for as long as it will be needed. They have a tanker right now parked at Herbert Hoover High School, a smaller tanker stationed at the Kenny's Creek Missionary Baptist Church in Winona, just down in Fayette County. And here are areas where the Buffaloes are set up in Clendenin, which is probably the hardest hit area of Kanawha County. Remember, if you can get water, or if you need to get water at any of these locations, be sure to bring your own containers. Tens of thousands still without power, and many will be in the dark for a while. This is a live look at AEP's website. A little more than 10,000 West Virginia electric customers right now without power. The counties in red are the ones that have the most power outages. Kanawha right now, as you can imagine, with the most, but Greenbrier also hard hit, as well as Roane and Nicholas. We'll keep you updated consistently throughout the day, and you can go to this website at any time to see where those power outages are. County crews will soon be collecting garbage and debris in the flood zone. They're asking for you to try to separate appliances and larger bulky items from the smaller garbage. The sites will be open from 8 to 8. Students at South Charleston High School are helping another school that's been devastated by the Elk River flooding. The show choir at Herbert Hoover lost everything in the flood. Props, costumes, music, all gone. Students and volunteers now at South Charleston High are collecting money and supplies to try to help Hoover's program recover. From 3 to 6 p.m. today, volunteers will be there at South Charleston, graciously accepting money and supplies and donating everything to Hoover. For all people affected by this, the slow, painful process now underway, trying to clean up, trying to somehow get their lives back together. It's not going to be easy. It is going to take time, but you can help. Eyewitness News reporter Brooke Thibodeau joining us once again live along the Elk River. People coming together at Elkview Baptist Church trying to help their neighbors. We love seeing this, Brooke, and that's one silver lining in all of this is that West Virginians are once again banding together to help their friends.
Rick, that is very much the case here. We're in Elkview Baptist Church in the driest area. This was the only place that wasn't hit. So this is where all of the supplies had to go in order to get out to the people who need them, who've been pulling up in cars. They've been passing those out throughout the morning. I'm here with Secretary Terry Handshoe. I just say that right?
You did.
Awesome. Okay. So let's talk about the basement. You were here when all of the water was rising.
Yes.
It sounded like you came back several times just to check on the church. So how are you feeling just watching that water come in and you knew there was really nothing you could do?
Right. It does give you like a sense of helplessness at the time. But I know there's a lot of other area buildings, churches, families, homes that have suffered greater loss. But you just think of all the memories and the opportunities being lost or washed away, but we're really thankful that we didn't suffer the loss that so many.
That is the hope. I
Right.
mean, that's what you got to focus on this morning.
Exactly.
And is that why you're opening your doors? I mean, we were talking about how much water was inside the church, but what do you think the sermon, the message is going to be today?
Right. We the whole focus of our sermon today is just to really offer hope to people who are hurting, people that just need a hug, people just need to remember that there are people that love them and that care about their needs and want to serve them any way we can. The last 2 days we've seen many people coming in volunteering, dropping off things, helping clean up. And I think that's really the heartbeat of this church and also of this community, is just to reach out to others and help in that way. So that's what we want to extend today in our services. It's just there is hope. We find that in our relationship with the Lord, but we also find that in the community we live in, and showing that love that God gave to us, we can show that to others.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And doors open at 10:30, as we said. Bible school for the children has been canceled because the basement is destroyed down there. Reporting live in Elkview, Brooke Thibodeau, Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Brooke. And our special coverage will continue following this break. A blue, sunny morning over West Virginia. As you take a live look at the state capitol, Nick Patrick working on your forecast. There is some potential for rain in the forecast. He'll tell you what you need to know coming up when Eyewitness News This Morning returns.
Good morning, everybody. We're waking up to some sunshine finally here this Sunday morning. And we do have some sunny skies for now, but it's not going to last too much longer. For today, we're fine, but it's this rain to the northwest that we're tracking very closely. You can see this very clear line of showers. That's all a cold front tracking from west to east. Now, it's slowly approaching. For today, we're fine again, but here's why I'm worried a little bit. Now, let's take it to the river stages. Right now, the Elk River, 10.8 feet, flood stage is 19, but it hasn't gone down very much. They've been doing a reading just about every hour, and it's still stuck at that 10.8, only projected to drop about 9.8 feet. Now, if we get more rain coming our way on Tuesday, on Monday and Tuesday, that's when we could see this river stage bump back up a little bit. But it's not really the main rivers I'm worried about. It's more those creeks. It's where there's a lot of debris, a lot of silt still in those small back creek areas that are going to be very dangerous here. And here's why. Now, for the rest of the day, we look pretty good. Some showers pop up here in the mountains. Not going to be a big deal for us. We stay mostly sunny. A few clouds start to pop back in. But here we go towards Monday morning. You can see we have the potential for some showers to start bumping in. It just depends on how fast that cold front is going to approach us. Now, it looks like the Futurecast has bumped it back a couple of hours here, but as you head in tomorrow morning, here's what we have. The cloud cover takes over and the spotty showers begin. Now, a lot of moisture here, a lot of really energy still in that atmosphere. This cold front is going to feed off of that, so there could be a lot of moisture here pumping in, especially in the southern areas. Places like Fayetteville that saw a lot of rain could still get more of that coming in on Monday afternoon, Monday evening as well. Before we really start to see these showers push out, it could linger a little bit. So if this cold front slows down, we could have a lot of rainfall coming back in, anywhere from 1/2 inch to 3/4. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot. It sounds like it's, just an average typical rainstorm here. But after all that rainfall we had, again, I'm a little concerned about those back creek areas. If you can get outside, clear some of that debris out of the way, that's going to help a lot with this rain. You see by tomorrow morning, not a whole lot comes in, but then in the afternoon starts to pick up some steam. By tomorrow night, anywhere from 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch is really what we're expecting, and that's going to be our biggest concern for us. Hey, stick around. I'll have another check-in with your weather. We have some people out there live getting these donations here, so stick around for us.
Thank you, Nick. And as we go to break, we have some information to pass along to you. We just got off the phone with Metro 911. They say the Nitro St. Albans Bridge will be shut down for about an hour as they inspect it. That's courtesy of the Nitro PD. So again, if your Sunday morning travel plans would normally have you going over the Nitro St. Albans Bridge, just be aware that for about the next hour, it's going to be closed. We'll update you on that if we get any more information. And we'll be right back with our special edition of Eyewitness News This Morning right after this.
Virginia's source for news. Eyewitness News starts right now.
We have reached the bottom of the hour. We will be with you on the air here till 10 o'clock on this special edition of Eyewitness News this morning, covering the West Virginia flood and its aftermath. All that water starting to go down, which is giving us a better look at what's been left behind by this deadly flooding. Good evening, or good morning, I should say. I'm Rick Lord. We do have team coverage of the aftermath, from cleanup to donation drop-off locations, and how you can help. We have the information you'll need. First, let's send it over to meteorologist Nick Patrick, who has a look at the river levels, which are constantly changing this morning, and what's in the forecast not only for today, but for tomorrow. You might want to pay attention to this, Nick.
Rick, thanks. Yeah, it's certainly today. Looks good. Sun's out. You walk outside, you're going to feel the heat. We're already in the mid-70s. River levels starting to go down. So some good news to start things off. But it's the forecast that has some concern for us. Look at this. The sunny skies. That is a big, big boost for us. And that's certainly going to be really adding to that forecast. Now look at this. Nice and clear. Tonight, though, and into tomorrow, we have some rain heading our way. It's all thanks to a cold front starting to pick up on some energy here in the atmosphere. That could give us some showers anywhere from a half inch to 3/4 of an inch. Not out of the question. And because of the rain we had, this could certainly deal some problems in those hard-hit areas. Places like Clendenin certainly could see some more rain. And we're going to have a very close look at that here by the time we make it into your full forecast. That'll be up next for you. Just a little bit.
Thank you, Nick. So many people affected by this. 44 of West Virginia's 55 counties under a state of emergency. The death toll now at the 24 mark, and still some people unaccounted for. For those that survived, the process has begun of cleaning up and picking up their lives. Eyewitness News reporter Brooke Thibodeau, live along the Elk River, which crested at 14 feet above flood stage. So you got to think all of those homes and businesses along the Elk damaged in some way, people coming together now to try to help their neighbors. Brooke.
Rick, that's exactly what we saw when we drove in before we got to Elkview Baptist Church, which is where we are now. We could see just people's belongings stacked outside of their homes in mounds, just trying to get all that mud and that water outside of their homes. And we're inside one of the safest places. This church actually got hit as well with some flooding. We're going to pan just to show you some of the collection items they have going on here. They've got cleaning supplies. They also need feminine hygiene products, things like that. Anything that you can think of that you might need in an emergency, that is what they are collecting here, and they're passing out to their neighbors. But I think the incredible message is here. They were hit hard. There was water all the way 8 feet high in their basement, but they are still managing to open their doors this morning for church service, and they're welcoming anyone who was affected by these floods who may need a community and just a shoulder to come and cry on or talk to anyone who needs that kind of relief. Reporting live in Elkview, Brooke Thibodeau, Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Brooke. Great point that the emotional support also needed as well through times like this. Eyewitness News once again honored to partner with the Union Mission to try to make it a little easier to get help to those flood victims. Chris Williams live at one of our donation stations, the Drug Emporium on Charleston's west side. Chris, how are things going out there this morning?
Rick, it's already been a pretty busy morning here at the Drug Emporium over here on Canal Boulevard. We just want to take you inside one of these trucks. You can see all the donations they've had, and this is just since yesterday. So they have all kinds of cleaning supplies, paper towels, mops. There's a lot of bleach, disinfecting wipes, anything you could think of, brooms, mops. Those are all good things that people need to have to get their homes, get their communities back on their feet. One thing I want to point out, though, someone who has been working here since yesterday, he says all the cleaning supplies are good, but one thing they don't have a lot of are cleaning supplies for people, like toothpaste and mouthwash and deodorant and toothbrushes and things like that. So those are some of the things that they still need here. And they also, I want to point out too, they like food like this that has this little pop top on right there. You can just pop the lid open and dig right in, because a lot of people don't have ways to cook food or anything like that. So they just want to make it as easy as possible for people to get a good meal in while they're trying to get everything back on track. Obviously water, we got plenty of that here. It can keep on coming as well. Everyone needs water while they're getting back together. We're going to be here until 6 o'clock tonight. They're taking donations here at the Drug Emporium on the Canal Boulevard, also one on Corkle Avenue, and then down in Barbersville. as well. And Rex Whiteman, the president and CEO of Union Mission, told me they also have a trailer out at Bible Center in Southridge. So plenty of places for you to donate. They'll be here until 6 o'clock tonight to give anything you can to help people out. Reporting live here in Charleston, Chris Williams, Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Chris. Great advice. A couple things he brought up that I want to reiterate. Obviously, easy access food. That's what they need. Things with those little pop-off lids where you can just pop the can open and eat it. And personal hygiene items. Don't forget about that. A lot of people that have nothing, that means they have no deodorant, no mouthwash, no toothpaste, no toothbrushes. So anything you can generously donate obviously will be accepted, but keep those specific things in mind when helping out. This morning, high schools and community centers have been turned into makeshift shelters, and that's where a lot of people are waking up on Sunday after losing everything they owned. The Red Cross has one of those shelters here at Capitol High School. About a half dozen volunteers working to try to take care of everyone who's been forced out of their communities. So far, more than 60 people have used this shelter, and they say there's still room for many more. If you need help getting to a shelter, call the Red Cross. We've put 2 numbers there on your screen. You can also use their website, redcross.org, and there's a smartphone app you can download to help you find shelters and track down your loved ones who might be staying at one. Right now, a lot of people in the flooded areas don't have even basic utilities. No power, no water, no anything. West Virginia American Water is trucking in water as long as it will be needed. This tanker's parked at Herbert Hoover High School, a smaller one stationed at the Kenny's Creek Missionary Baptist Church in Winona, just down in Fayette County. And there are water buffaloes set up throughout Clendenin, which is the hardest hit area of Kanawha County. Remember, if you go to get water at any of these locations, bring your own containers. County crews will soon be collecting garbage and debris, and they're asking for you to try to separate the larger items like bulky objects or appliances from the smaller garbage. Those sites that you see there on your screen will be open from 8 to 8. And our special edition of Eyewitness News this morning will continue after the break as you take a live look at Charleston.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. It's certainly a nicer start to the day than what we've seen the past several. Sunshine making its way through the capital city. Not going to last too much longer, though. Through today, we're going to be all right. Plenty of sunshine help dry us out. I'm getting right to the futurecast here so you can see what you have to expect. A few passing clouds for this afternoon. Nothing really there. Some rain off into the mountains, not going to really affect us. It's going to be later tonight and tomorrow morning. Now, we're going to see some cloud cover start to drift in. I'm expecting right around 4 o'clock, 4:30, we're going to start to see some of this rain start to move back in. That's all thanks to a cold front. You can see as you wake up tomorrow morning, heading into work, the clouds take over. There's going to be spotty showers to start things off. Now, as we head later on into the day, we're going to see the heat start to take over. We're going to see some energy here. Plenty of moisture certainly still in the area. So as this cold front moves across, it's going to start firing off these stronger rain showers here, quickly moving, but still could dump a lot of rain. And as that cold front lingers, you could see some more stable air comes in and we start to clear out a little bit, but it's going to be the southern areas, places like Fayette County, Nicholas County could see some significant rainfall once again. Now, I say significant, not what we saw, of course, over the past several days, nothing like that, but because the ground's so saturated, because those rivers, there's a lot of debris still there covering up those rivers, certainly could have an impact. I'm going to get into the rain forecast here, and you can see what I'm talking about. I'm expecting anywhere from about a ½ inch of rain to 3/4 of an inch. Again, that doesn't sound like a whole lot of rain, but anything we see that is accumulation, it's going to play a factor here. So right at what I'm talking about, a ½ inch should be about what we're expecting here. By the time we make it into the next couple of days, we start to dry out again. Right now, things nice and calm for us. Hey, stick around. We're going to have another look at that weather for you. That's going to be just a little bit.
As our coverage continues this morning, President Barack Obama has approved federal funding for the flooded out areas. The help from FEMA will mean possible grant money for temporary housing and home repairs, and also low-cost loans to cover uninsured property loss. Obviously, help from the feds is great to have here, but we can also just use help from our neighbors, which is what we see all the time, West Virginians coming together. Eyewitness News reporter Brooke Thibodeau live along the Elk River at a church that's usually busy in other ways on Sunday, but today they've set up an area to help their fellow neighbors. Brooke?
Rick, in addition to opening their doors for church service, they also have a collection center where they're being able to hand out goods. You can see there's people over here. They are collecting supplies. They've just been driving up, parking their cars, going inside and seeing what materials they are able to get. There's water. There's some hygiene products for people. There's also clothing inside. So really, they're taking anything and everything that people are willing to donate. The United Mission also dropped off truckloads of materials here. It was a full truckload the United Mission was able to give, but they're still going to be asking for more donations. The congregation is meeting at 10:30. Some of them are come a little bit early and started to gather just to talk to some of the flood victims. Some of them themselves lost everything, so they're all trying to get together, and they've opened their doors to any other church who has been affected this morning. Reporting live in Elkview, Brooke Thibodeau, Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Brooke. And as we go to break, a couple things to pass along that we haven't been able to get to yet. Heritage Baptist Church in Pinch has set up showers for anyone who wants to use one. That's obviously something you don't think about in times like this. A lot of these people haven't even taken a shower. That's Heritage Baptist Church in Pinch. And AT&T has set up tents to help people charge their phones or their computers to get in touch with their loved ones. Our special edition of Eyewitness News this morning will continue after the break.
Well, the sun is shining this Sunday morning, but some more rain is in that forecast. Well, today we were okay, so we do get a nice drive start for us here on Sunday, but by the time we make it into tomorrow, it's going to be a different story entirely. Looking at that radar, here's what we're saying. Cold front draped all really across the Midwest here, starting in the Michigan, moving through Illinois. That rain slowly tracking to the east. That is going to build up. There's a lot of moisture with this system, and there's a lot of humidity over West Virginia right now. So what that means, when that cold front hits us, it's going to start feeding off that energy, and it's going to produce some more rain. Let's get right into that futurecast here. We start off today, some clouds drifting in from the east. Shouldn't really be much of a factor for us, though. A little bit of a shower or two in the mountains. No significant rainfall for today. For the most part, we stay nice and sunny. That's good news. Helps dry us out. The river levels have gone down significantly, so also some good news now. But the Elk River's been steady. It's right at that 10-foot mark, and it's not going to really change a whole lot until we get into the rest of the day on Monday. You can see that rain starts to really bubble in here, starting off fairly light, but then it starts to gather some strength here. The northern half of the state, thankfully, not looking at a whole lot, but right now, southern areas, Fayette County, Nicholas County, Clay County, all could see some significant rainfall, anywhere from a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch. And when we have this, the ground this saturated, flooding certainly going to be an issue. We're keeping a close eye on this storm for you, and we're going to have some more information just in a little bit.
Thank you very much, Nick. We have partnered once again with the Union Mission to try to make it a little easier for you to get help to those flood victims. We're honored to do so each and every time we do this. Chris Williams live at one of our donation stations, Charleston's West Side Drug Emporium. Chris, let's fill that truck up. What do you say?
Hey, Rick, we're giving it our best shot. It's not even, we're not even an hour into it yet today, and we've already got plenty of donations rolling in. We want to show you up here in the truck just the amount of donations that we've had so far since yesterday and then today as well. And we have people here with the Union Mission and other volunteers who are just helping out. One of those men right here is Doug Green. He's been here since 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning. Doug, what have you seen so far with people just coming out and donating their time and money here?
I see a lot of things. You see a community pulling together. West Virginians, we go through a lot, and it just seems like that when tragedy happens or things like this happen, they rally around each other and try to help out. So I see a lot of people with big hearts that's giving.
What are you guys looking for right now? I've seen a lot of people drop off water and things like that, but what else are you all looking for?
Everything. Toiletries, water, obviously, cleaning supplies. A lot of people actually donate money that we can go buy some of those things as well. So, but the main things, water, toiletries, cleaning supplies.
You touched on it a second ago. You know, people say a lot of things about West Virginia, but one thing they can't say is we help each other out. What does that mean to you? What does that say about this state that that people stop what they're doing in times of need to help people out?
Amen. Yeah, I grew up in West Virginia and moved away for a little bit, but really refreshed my view of West Virginia, seeing how people do things and how they help one another out. I work for a place called Youth Commission in West Virginia. We do Christian clubs and schools, and you see those people rallying around to help people in the southern part of the state day in and day out. Just makes you really proud to be a West Virginian.
I will second that as well. So we want to there are 3 locations for you to donate. We'll be here until 6 o'clock this evening, so come out and give whatever you can. Reporting live here in Charleston, Chris Williams, Eyewitness News.
Wonderful job. Thank you, Chris. And we do want to reiterate, right now they're asking that you don't drop off any clothing or furniture. It's not that they can't put that to use. It's just that right now they have no way of getting it to where it would need to go. So they're trying to compartmentalize the donation schedule here. So right now the immediate need is for things like food, water, cleaning supplies, personal hygiene items. We'll save the clothes or furniture for down the road. But of course, if you have any monetary donations that you'd like to give, there's no such thing as a donation that's too small. We'll make sure to put that to good use. Right now, a lot of people in the flooded areas don't even have basic utilities. And with that in mind, West Virginia American Water is trying to help out. They're trucking in water for as long as it's needed. A tanker right now parked at Herbert Hoover High School, a smaller tanker stationed at the Kennys Creek Missionary Baptist Church in Winona down in Fayette County. And county crews will be collecting garbage and debris in the flood zones soon. They're asking you to separate the larger items from the smaller ones. So take the appliances and bulky items and put them in one pile, and then the smaller garbage all together. Those sites open 8 to 8. And our special edition of Eyewitness News will wrap up right after this.
Off here looking at that rain forecast. Now we're expecting anywhere from about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of rainfall possible. That's going to be tomorrow, starting in the morning hours, right around 6, 7 o'clock is when we could see those first rounds come in, and then they just keep on coming in for the rest of the day. Now it's nothing like we saw, Rick, over the last, several days, but certainly it's going to be significant. All of those rivers, those streams that are just, there's a lot of water still there to, the ground's just saturated.
Yeah, and as we saw, it doesn't take much. Eyewitness News will continue at 6 o'clock with Callie Cart. You can get news throughout the day online at WCHSTV.com. For everyone here at Eyewitness News, Nick Patrick, I'm Rick Lord. Take care.